Hello, everyone, and welcome to another daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Welcome back to the garage on a Sunday. It's getting a bit nippy outside, actually. My wife's walking around going, "Oh, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold." So I can tell it's happening. I see there's a good bunch of you in the chat already, and it's good to see everybody. A lot of familiar faces. I'm just having a and we're off. Alan Pierce says you're absolutely right. Hello, Alan Pape, Mad Spaniel, Alan Pierce, Cess78, Cosmic Wartoad. Who else we got? John Gray, Lorna McKenzie, Chrissy Williams, Nigel the Handyman. Handy Andy's in the house. Good to see Handy Andy. Cess78, Ian Williamson. Who else have we got? Patricia Shaw. I like to say hello to everybody, so bear with me. Jerry Georgopoulos, Julie Baldwin, hello to you. Julie Keys, John Harris, yes. Boating live abroad, good to see you. Mad Spaniel, and I think all the gang's here, aren't they? I think we're pretty well getting there. Rock Hopper. Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. What you just said, I did see some footage of that earlier. Patricia Shaw, we got. Thank you, Julie, for pointing that out. I appreciate that. A particular subject, in particular, which we don't want to talk about here, because that's not what it's about. Okay, I think I've said hello to everybody. One little Reform BBC, hello to you, Steve Taylor, Vim Paraffin, a few more coming in. One thing I just want to ask, a question first of all. Steve Taylor, good evening to you. Completely unrelated to this live stream, and we've got 100 in here already. I can't believe it. Kim Alliston, hello. Saw you over at Bill Cannon's earlier. Good to see you. Who's got kids that are still living at home and young? Give me a 1 if you've got young kids at home and they're still young, and I mean really young, or have they all grown up and flown the coop? Mr. Brom, hello to you. Freeman69, hello to you. Trevor Fuller, yeah, we're all coming in. That's great. No kids, thank God. Yeah, I used to live like that once, and I've ended up with 2 of the little darlings, but never you mind about that. No kids. That's Jonathan Peake, the Manchester man, and Ian Williamson. Hello to you guys. Paul Kelly as well. Yeah, the reason I ask, I'm in the garage where we're doing the live streams from, and the house is kind of that way in relation to me. And at the moment in there, my wife and my youngest boy, Jack, who you all know, are in there. And, well, somebody said that their son's 26. Mine's 18, and he's currently in Magaluf. He literally landed about 10 minutes ago, funnily enough. So he's gone for the week. But, yeah, my little one, Jack, he's sitting there playing Roblox. And I've just been playing that with him for a little while. And when I was about to come out the door, he said, "Daddy." I thought, I know what that sounds like. See these Roblox? It's only 350 I'll get for about £2. I thought, he's got his timing, hasn't he? And I was hoping my wife's credit card was lined up on it, but it wasn't. It was my PayPal account. So coming out to talk to you guys, I was £2 lighter. But I don't mind. It's only £2, but it's £2. It's £2. It's £2. Yes. Oh, well, that's what we get for being parents, and they're only young for a short amount of time, and we have to relish it. We're actually going. I've actually got no bookings at all tomorrow, which is amazing, and we're actually going over to kind of West London, Uxbridge area, over that way to go and see some relatives. Right, we've got 142 people in the chat after 4 minutes, nearly 5. Great to see everybody. I'm shocked that loads of people have come here so quickly. Welcome to everybody. If there's any new subscribers, then please feel free to hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel as well. That's what keeps us going and gets us going. But let's get into the meat of this thing, shall we? What's going on in Dover? And of course, I titled the live stream, "Is there a cover up going on in Dover?" Because you have to think that maybe there is. To my mind, this is a very divisive subject. It doesn't matter whether you're on the left of the political spectrum or the right of the political spectrum. There is something about this that is fishy for all of us. On the left, of course, a lot of them are like, oh, those poor people coming from war-torn countries, we must help them. Anybody that doesn't think so is racist and Islamophobic and all the other phobics you can tend to chuck at it. On the right-hand side, it's more cut and dry. Stop the bastards coming over. Now, to me, until I realised, the crux of it, there's also the, humanitarian bit of it as well. Hi, Gary Thornbury, good to see you. You get in one of these rubber boats and come over the channel as a, well, let's face it, economic migrant. You could fall in and drown, the storms could turn or anything like that. We've seen this tragedy already on more than one occasion. And they've effectively got to get to the halfway point where they're then picked up by the RNLI and our border force and brought the rest of the way. Lorna McKenzie just made a very valid point there. War-torn countries like Albania, yes, I get the sarcasm there. We were all led to believe they were coming from war-torn Middle Eastern countries, but it turns out now that 60% of them are coming from Albania, and the situation isn't really like that. I mean, Steve Laws, I played a video the other day for you, whereby he wrote to the Home Office and said, could you please clarify for me the number of these people coming through the Channel Tunnel on a daily or weekly basis, I guess? And he was told, not in the public interest. So we're not going to tell you. Crazy, huh? Not in the public interest, yet they're swarming in here all the time. Tony, thank you very much for the £2 super sticker. Much appreciated the support there. Really great. Thank you very much. Yeah, not in the public interest. And all of them swarming over, not in the public interest. Funny that. We have recorded statistics of how many people are arriving on a daily basis. And it really is quite frightening. And you have to wonder how much longer is it going to be before we run out of room to put them. I mean, I'll show you the latest statistics here. If you bear with me a second. Mick Hardstaff, hello to you. Good to see you. Let's just bring this screen up for you. Chrome tab. That's the one, I think. Share. Okay, now this was some footage taken the other day. Let me mute me so we can play this. There's a couple of things I notice about that piece of footage. The guy in the rear had this bloody great bin bag full of stuff. What was in there? Clothes, mobile phones, other stuff. And also, all of the people there, despite the fact they've just had a 20 odd mile trip across the channel, all look quite well dressed in nice looking tracksuits and t shirts and jeans and all that sort of thing. Very well clean. They don't look like the kind of people we're being led to believe. I mean, the other thing as well is if we have a look at these figures here on this actual article, number of people arriving in the UK on small boats has passed 25,000. 25,000, and we're in August, at the end of August, nearly the beginning of September. And they reckon that 915 crossed on Saturday. That is unfucking believable. And you can see there 915 migrants crossed in 19 small boats on Saturday alone. So you have to wonder how many are being crammed into those boats. I mean, Maya Tusi, I'll give him a shout out on this. He did a thing earlier, which I've covered before, where they're actually advertising their services on TikTok. Yes, TikTok. So they're using social media to actually advertise what is going on here. It is absolutely outrageous. And how much longer do we have to put up with this? Yeah, 900 came across yesterday. Let's read off some of these figures here. Yeah, 915 is a spot on figure for yesterday. The busiest channel crossing happened last Monday, 1,295. We know about this. GB News analysis of the figures shows that a total of 25,111 people have now crossed since the 1st of January. I mean, if you divide that down into 8 months, that's a mind-boggling, sickening figure. I mean, the figure is more than double what it was at this time last year, and just over 3,000 short the total for 2021. I mean, you can 28,526 people came over last year, and we're nearly there now, and we're not even in September. Weather conditions on Friday were too poor to allow crossings. The next few days ahead were expected to produce poor conditions as well. Yet they're still coming. They're still coming. I mean, I don't want to anger anybody with these things, but it's ridiculous. I mean, look at some of these pictures again. You've got them there, and you can see all the boats underneath the gangway, and we'll talk about what's going on with the gangway, hence the subject. And there's that article there, the cost of UK asylum tops nearly 2 billion quid a year for the first time in history. Absolutely outrageous. It's unbelievable, isn't it, that we've got to this stage where we're allowing these people en masse to come over, and you can tell I'm speechless. I mean, Chrissy Williams, she lives literally a stone's throw from where all this is going on, and she tells me day in and day out that what you see in the news and what's really going on, it's outrageous. We'll come on to the grand cover-up very shortly, and let's see what people are saying in the chat before we move on to the next bit. And while I'm here, just to say welcome to everybody that's just joined the chat. We've got nearly 180 people watching. It's good to see everybody. If you're new here, thank you for coming along. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already, we do like to cover this subject, when it's prudent to. I personally believe that this needs keeping in the public eye. There was another piece of video that I saw that TW Media Tracy actually filmed, and it was of the boat people actually chucking their ID in the harbour, in the water, in the channel. I don't know if anybody saw that, but it's there on camera, trying to hide their identity, their point of origin. I was going to play you TW Media's footage, but they've got copyright stamps on it, and saying they don't want anybody else playing it. So I thought, I better not err on the side of safety, because I didn't want to piss anybody off. What's this? Alan Blenn, till we dissolve Parliament and put in a government that cares for the people of this country. Oliver Cromwell did this. That is a great film. Richard Harris, I love that last scene. And I'd love to see the look on their faces. Beginning to make D-Day look small, isn't it? Just you could so easily draw a comparison there. Chrissy Williams, this is the point in question, isn't it? You had Boris on the telly or the news or whatever saying, "Oh, there's more cash coming when my predecessor gets in, my successor or any ex out there." Yeah. Fuck off, Boris. We're not buying it. We're all in the shit up to here. How are we going to pay our gas and everything? I bought you that video earlier today about Asda's messing around with their essentials range already and putting 10p on a packet of mints. It doesn't sound like a lot, but are these guys getting all this handed to them? Yeah. Sharon Shooter, it will never end. I think the projection is we're looking at least 5 years of this, but I think that's bullshit. I reckon there'll be more until it is stopped. Wow, we have got 200 people just over watching us. That's incredible numbers. Thank you so much. And as I said, if you are here, please make sure you hit the like button on the chat. That'd be great. That is what gets that algorithm talking about this channel. It's so wonderful to see everybody. I will do more topical live streams like this every now and again, because there are certain things that are coming through with more regular frequency that you need put in front of you. There really is. And it really makes a sting come out my ears. And I think, I need to talk about this and put it in front of you all. So we do a mixture of these in the chats as we do. Yes, we'll come to that in a minute, Mick. That's the thing that I wanted to talk about. I mean, we had a load of legal challenges, didn't we, over the course of a few years, where they were trying to stop people actually going down and filming what's going on with the boats when they come in and unload the people. It's completely and utterly obvious that they don't want people to know what's going on. And sometimes they even come in the dead of night. You move across to America, where they've got their own issues with migrants coming across the Mexican border. You have Westchester County in New York. And what happened there? In the dead of night, this bloody plane came in and landed at Westchester County Airport, unloaded a load of them, and off they went in the dead of night. So there's no journalists, no public, no spectators. Sneaky, huh? And they're doing the same thing here. What I had to laugh at was the French the other day. We've got this ongoing battle, haven't we, of whose fault it is, whose responsibility is it to stop these people coming. I've said it time and time again what I think. It will never happen because we don't want to piss the French off or make them feel like it's 1940 all over again. And they've outrightly said no. And I suppose even though they're not respecting ours, we have to respect their territorial integrity or their sovereignty. But there's got to be a way around it. So you know, you have the French manning our border over here and us manning their border over there. So surely some kind of similar arrangement could be made to stop these people doing what they're doing. It really fires me up, this. It's crazy. Vin Paraffin, I smell a giant rat, which is going to bite and infect the UK population. Vin Paraffin, if you're not alone. You're not alone. I mean, let's have this, right? Give me a 1 in the chat if you smell a giant rat. You know, let's see how many rats people are smelling. And I'm waiting for those ones. It's just too much. There we go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. There's a whole chunk of them there already. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All the way bloody down. I reckon if I drove down to Dover right now and sat on the cliffs up the top there, I might see some things. I might actually investigate the possibility of doing that one time, you know, go and have a sneaky shufty down there and see what's going on. But hey, you know, you never know. I mean, let's turn back to the French, shall we? Bless their cotton socks. Yeah, I nearly said merde, as in shit. We have this ongoing thing where Priti Patel seems to like spending millions of pounds on this to no avail, and coming up with these crackpot deals with Rwanda and now Albania, saying we're going to deal with them, we're going to deal with them. It's almost like the conservative leadership contest, all sound bites that don't mean shit. They really don't. And we know that, you know, it's all soundboard noise just for us, just for our benefit. And meanwhile, it goes on and on and on. And of course, we're all concentrating on the channel, right? And we're forgetting things like the tunnel, the ferry port. I've had personal experience, albeit years ago. I had to go down there on a taxi job to take some illegal migrants. They were kids, supposedly, although looking back on it now, I'm not so sure, and transport them. So there is another couple of branches to all this, and we're all the channel. What's going on the channel? I mean, look at this load of shit. Let's share this again. I showed this footage the other day, but for anybody that hasn't seen it or wasn't in the other day, there we go. This is a Steve Law's video again, so to give him credit for coming up with this. I'll mute myself out so then we can
Channel 4 News put out a video showing French police slashing dinghies with Stanley blades and spraying pepper spray in front of their faces to stop them crossing the channel illegally. On the day that this video emerged, over 600 illegal immigrants crossed that day. So to suggest that they're actually stopping them is complete nonsense. The reality is the French want more money from us. So this is nothing more than a publicity stunt to encourage the taxpayer to be okay with giving the French more money to prevent crossings. They don't actually do this. When you compare the footage with what actually happens when illegal immigrants film themselves coming over in dinghies, it's a completely different situation. There's no police to be seen. But conveniently, when state-funded Channel 4 are on the scene, all of a sudden the French police are stopping the crossings and slashing the dinghies. I wouldn't believe it as far as I can throw it if I was you. It looks like state propaganda to me.
So we've got about 40 or 50 people. The police buggy has just turned up to try and stop them.
Reality is we've had almost 25,000 come over this year. None of them are being stopped. Very rarely are any being brought back to France. And when they are, it's only when the dinghy physically can't make it to the centre of the channel to get picked up. So don't believe the hype, guys. Channel 4 are just spreading propaganda. That's my opinion on the situation. Once the French have actually been given the money, it'll all go back to normal. And let's not forget, it's only one video's emerged of one dinghy being stopped. That's absolutely nothing. Those people would have been on a dinghy the very next day, if not the same day.
There's a few things I want to point out about that video. Yeah, Tyrant Finder UK. I mean, we'll come on to the cost in a minute, but, you know, 7 million quid a day to house the buggers. Exactly. That video was nothing more than a publicity stunt. There was a group of them all running towards the coast with the old dinghy on there. Whatever they're saying. The old Bill come up to them, the French equivalent of the old Bill. Conveniently, they've got a Stanley blade or whatever, and stabbed the damn thing. You heard it go pop. You heard it go and deflate. And they're like, oh, yes. And did you see the guy on the end where he got sprayed, which apparently was CS spray or something like that? But you know, I don't know if anyone has ever come into contact with CS spray, but it is it's a very nasty business. You don't just walk away when you've had that sprayed at you like that guy did. He had it on his toes. He was running. Sorry. And not only that, how could a film crew just conveniently be there to picture and film the very moment the damn thing gets burst? We're not falling for it at all. Ian Southam, yes, more like hairspray is probably the case there, most definitely. Now, let's have another look in the chat and see who we got. Yeah, Kirky Bailey, exactly. There you go, my point exactly. Bulls, that wasn't CS spray. Catherine Smee, Anna Perkins. Yeah, Jerry, it was staged. It's obvious. Are we? Time to stop this, get the forces out to block the coast. We're being invaded. That's certainly what it feels like. Certainly what it feels like. I have, Andy. It's evil stuff. That weren't the coppers you had to go at the petrol station that night, was it? Is that the bit off camera you didn't show me? I'm only pulling your leg. But yeah, it is nasty stuff. God, some of these are coming in. That's the frightening point, isn't it? That's a point of view, scaringly looking more accurate than a conspiracy theory. You know, we are creaking at the seams. We really are. And meanwhile, all of our own public services and emergency services are being diverted off for this. Now, I mean, I'm very upset with the likes of the RNLI and Border Force and everyone else. I don't know about you guys. I find it egregious, absolutely, totally egregious. Yeah, Chrissy, you saw that. I thought you might. What's this one? Even the Welsh family saying don't go over there. They'll send you to Rwanda. Utter bollocks. Yes, and not necessarily clean ones either. Listen, everybody, this is the daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Something a bit different for you this evening. Actually, more specific on something that needs discussing. This situation with the economic migrants flooding over the channel by the thousands. it would appear every week, or at least 1,000 every day. I mean, you do the maths, 1,000 every day, there's 365 days in a year. That's getting on 370,000 of them over the course of a year. If that happened every single day, it obviously doesn't because of the tidal levels and the weather and everything else. But you just consider the possibilities if they got that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about cost, isn't there? But before we do that, as I was saying, please hit that like button on the chat. We need that because it gets the algorithm talking about the channel, and we can get more things like this out there, so people are actually seeing what we're talking about, seeing what we're showing. Every now and again, we have our little natter, as we do, and then every now and again, something big like this comes out where we need to discuss it. And also, you'll see people in the chat with a little green emblem next to them. Those are the channel members, though it's those of you that chuck £1 in the pot every month just to help support me and help this channel. And that just goes in a fund where I can, get bits and pieces, keeps me in Coca-Cola, and it's very much appreciated. And for all those channel members, all I do every month is just give them a live stream once a week, just for them, just so we can have a little chatter about things. And if you want to come into that, then please feel free to do so. But there will be one of these every single day, bar the day I do the members one. So thank you very much, everybody, for all your support, no matter how it comes. The subscribers, the channel members, all the contributors in the chat. I can see it going nuts this evening. This is such a sensitive subject, and I appreciate it ever so much, you giving me your time and your attention. Now, talking of money, let's get on to the cost of all this, shall we? And then we'll talk about the cover-up, the last thing. Now, let's have a look at this one. Cost of UK asylum. Okay, I'm going to mute myself again.
Arriving into Dover Harbour, the Border Force vessel Ranger, her decks packed with Channel migrants, most likely to be from Albania. In fact, we can confirm that 60% of those currently arriving into UK waters on small boats are from that tiny nation. In truth, this is a crisis within a crisis, which has so concerned UK authorities, it resulted in what amounts to an emergency agreement between the UK and Albanian governments to rapidly remove those with no right to asylum. The British government believes that's likely to be the vast majority of those arriving from what is a peaceful nation on the Balkan Peninsula. We've been told that 6 in 10 of those arriving on small boats at the moment are from Albania, more than 6,000 already this year and growing rapidly. Compare that to just 2 years ago, when only 50 Albanians arrived by small boat. Here in the Albanian capital, Tirana, this is also an existential crisis for those in government here, as the country faces rapid depopulation. Since the 90s, the population has fallen by more than 15% and now numbers fewer than 2.8 million people. The crisis is most acute in Albania's rural towns and villages, where the vast majority of their young have up sticks and left. In fact, Albania is one of the few nations in the world where there are more of its people living outside than inside the country. As part of the agreement with the UK, Albanian law enforcement officials will be seconded here to the Border Force processing centres at Dover Harbour and the former RAF base at Manston. We're told they'll help gather intelligence on arrivals and quickly assess those with no right to be here, Officials hope those individuals could be removed within 2 or 3 weeks of arriving. However, there's little doubt asylum lawyers will try to challenge those decisions. Nothing surrounding this growing crisis is ever straightforward. Mark White, GB News.
They're going to quickly decide who needs to be removed, and they're going to do that by sitting here at our ports and deciding that. I don't believe a word of it. This is some kind of emergency deal, apparently, that they've come up with in no time at all to put in front of the British people, and probably holds no more weight than, putting them on a plane to Rwanda when they come over. The lawyers will be all over it like a wet fucking rash. It's as simple as that. Where are we? Invite a politician to join the live chat to see how angry we all are. Andy the Gabby Cabby. It's funny you should say that, Dithian. One of the things that I now have the ability to do is pull in people into the live chat. It's something very powerful we can do, and then you can introduce people's stories, pulling in interviewees. There's all sorts of things, and we're actually actively looking at making things a little bit more interested in the background for everybody. This can be quite a good thing if we make it that way. So thank you for that comment, Diddy, and that's things we are looking at. Now, going back to that a second, let's just set this up. Let's get rid of the footage. I mean, there's some very in-depth coverage of this all over the place, isn't there? Let's put this back on the screen again. Yeah, there you go. Cost of UK asylum system tops 2 billion quid a year for the first time in history. Yeah, and you get Boris on the telly going, oh, there's more cash coming. More cash coming. Richie reports UK, Andy, you never see any protests against this on the beaches. Very valid point. I mean, how long is it going to be before this starts happening? Why are we putting up with it? That's what I just don't get. John Woodmass, is anyone else hungry? I've just put on cheese on toast, thin layer of Marmite. Yum. I tell you what, that is absolutely delicious sounding. I usually have like Bovril and cheese or Marmite or cheese. Absolutely lovely, both of them. Yeah, here's another one, not related to the migrants coming across the channel. 54 million quid just went to Ukraine. Meanwhile, what's going on in this country? It is insane. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, we look at this, 2 billion quid for the first time. Home Office spending on asylum rose by 756 million quid from 1.4 billion in 2020-2021 to 2.1 billion this current financial year. This is obscene amounts of money, and this could just be dealt with. It could be dealt with. And, you got all the statistics there of what's going on. I mean, all of this information is readily available out there. And it continues to climb and climb and climb and climb. John Woodmass, haha, Andy and Catherine know how to roll. Certainly do. Some going to be cheap taxi drivers, mate. Yeah. You could well be right there. I remember, don't get me wrong. anybody that comes into this country through illegal means wants to live and work here and create a life for themselves and contribute to the economy and contribute to this country, I have no problem with whatsoever. I remember I'm reminded of this guy. He was from Afghanistan, and he told me what they had to do for their driving test. I mean, that's another story entirely. But he came over many years ago. He just wanted to work, and he works a lot harder to support his family than anybody else I knew, and they're all over here. And he was telling me the tax bill that he has to pay every year. It was absolutely obscene. But people like that, I've no problem with. But all of this going on our coast under our noses, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Kevin, what you got to say? One-sided conversation. Look at the real problem. Millionaires, billionaires come together and fight for real enemy, not immigrants and seeker immigrants. Open your eyes. Thank you for that, Kevin. 2 billion a year. We only send 44 million to Ukraine. What is wrong with this country? Maybe we don't look after our own anymore. Rule Blitz. We are feeling a bit down in the mouth about all this, aren't we? Listen, everybody, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Slightly different spin this evening. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. What have we got? 240 people watching at the moment, somewhere around that. That's wonderful. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're just watching this for the first time, this is the kind of thing that we will do. Put topics in front of you, have a chat and everything else on a daily basis. And it's wonderful to see everybody here. Don't agree with that, Andy. We're full, David Bull says. I agree with you, David Bull. My comment about, if you want to come here in illegal, blah, 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 blah. I think we're past that point, aren't we? We were past that point a long, long time ago. It's like, if I were to use an analogy, put 2,000 houses up in an area with no schools, no doctors, no road infrastructure or anything. It puts an extra strain on stuff that's already under strain. It's ridiculous. I mean, the way I look at the UK population now is the official population and the unofficial population, as in what we, what's detectable and what isn't. But, I get exactly where you're coming from, David Bull, and I do very much agree with you. Let's have a look, see if anybody else. What's that? Absert. Alablend, thank you. Decades ago, we were past that point. Rule Blitz, 100% past that point when we had no homes for homeless, let alone affordable housing. Plumber on the job. Have you seen the cost of electric Tornios or electric hybrids? It just ain't going to happen. What's this one? Why do you think they want the farmers' land? Bill Gates, Bezos and BlackRock, they control the media, schools, etc. English party equals English rights restored. There was a guy, I forget his name, but he, bless him, he emailed me every now and again, talking about common law and the Magna Carta and, various things like that. And especially when I spoke out of turn, apparently, or got myself tongue twisted, he very, very much educated me. About, what I needed to know. And I forget his name, and I've not heard from him for a long time, but it's along along that route. Paul Dunlop, I'd be open to something like that. That's a route we can go down, definitely, at some point in the future. Thank you for that. Yeah, we'll have nothing and still be happy. I mean, have you seen this thing in America where they're talking about paying off student loans? Now, that's part of the agenda, isn't it? Cancelling debt. There you go. Magna Carta 1215, Bill of Rights 1688. Exactly. There we go. Right. Now for the last bit. As I said right at the beginning of this, we had an issue where the media wasn't reporting this. And as I've said before, hi Boxing MMA 365, good to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining me. 3 more likes needed to reach 200. So if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Let's get to the double ton. That'd be great. Yeah, we went through a stage where this really wasn't reported in the media at all. And I always say that whoever controls the narrative controls the situation, or I suppose wins the war, so to speak. And for a long time, everybody believed what they were being told in the news. Yeah, and now the news isn't the news anymore, is it? It's a propaganda tool to try and make us believe what they want to. And that's where people like me show up, and others. You know, I could roll off a list where we're trying to present it in a different way and try and show you what's going on from really just a normal point of view. And people like, well, Nigel Farage, let's face it, and others who shine a light on this situation every day of their political careers have forced the media and forced the politicians to start acknowledging that this is a real problem, and it's been going on for a number of years. What they did a while ago was issue a load of injunctions, which basically said to people, if you sit down at Dover and you actually film this stuff, we're going to take you to court. We're going to throw the book at you. And there are various people. I mean, there was one guy who got taken to court, and he was told he can't sit at the dock or sit on land and actually film this going on. So he turned around and said, all right, what if I sit on a boat offshore? And well, we can't argue with that. And he did. He sat on a boat offshore and films it all from there. And TW Media, Tracy and her crew, are one of the people that are down there every day. I mean, they live up north from what I'm led to understand, and they come down here at great expense to themselves and spend weeks and weeks and weeks down here cataloguing and filming all this day in, day out. And it's people like that that bring this to our attention. Now, what they appear to be doing now is trying to cover it up again. They're trying to make it difficult for people to see what's going on, film what's going on. We had the situation not so long ago where all of this got moved from Dover to Ramsgate, and they actually used the excuse of all the traffic problems created at the port, which is why they moved it. I do wonder whether that's 100% bollocks. I do wonder whether they just wanted it out of the way just as a little tester, just to see how they went. But we'll never know. But to make it difficult for people to monitor and record what's going on, the solution for them is very simple. Move it somewhere else and make it difficult for people to see, hence the cover-up. And that appears to be what's going on. I mean, the last video I want to show you, and again, credit to Steve Laws. Steve Laws is, this, some stuff he's found out. Now, let me just share the screen again. Share screen. You can see the title, Home Office to hide boat arrivals.
The Home Office is to hide the illegal arrivals from public view. The Home Office have made preparations to hide the illegal immigrants being unloaded from public view. The Home Office has been building a new gangway at the new Tughaven facility in Dover, which cost the taxpayer around £2.5 million. The gangway has been strategically placed to make it difficult for the press and general public to see how many are arriving. The Border Force has been training over the last few weeks in preparation for the change of location in terms of unloading illegal immigrants. I have spotted them on several occasions in the new location, training and preparing to unload. It is clear this is going to happen in the near future. The obvious intention behind this is to prevent the public from keeping count of how many arrive. The MOD does release daily figures. However, there have been numerous times when the numbers that arrive failed to match up with the numbers that the MOD released. So by removing the public's ability to keep count, the Home Office and MOD can put whatever figures out they wish, and people won't be able to know whether or not they are the true number of arrivals. It's yet again another Home Office cover-up. From the ground, it's pretty much impossible to see the numbers arriving and the Border Force unloading the illegal immigrants. However, from the cliffs, it is slightly possible, but only until they put up a temporary building or sheeting that's in the line of the view from the cliffs, and then it will be completely out of sight for everyone. The Home Office and Dover Harbour Board have tried on numerous occasions to remove myself and others from the location and have failed at every step. So now it seems they're just going to move the unloading of illegals to a more secure location to keep us from being able to see what's actually happening. They already moved the processing facility that they used in Dover out of sight behind large blacked out fences. It used to be just at the top of the old gangway, in which it was fairly easy for the public to keep track and observe what was happening. Now it's not so easy, although still possible in certain spots from the cliffs. As we all know, the Home Office is very well known to hide information from the public. It's something they do time and time again. Previously, in just the last couple of months alone, the Home Office have refused to disclose to me how many illegal immigrants have arrived via the tunnel. They claim that it's not in the public interest. They also used that very same excuse when I asked about how many illegal immigrants and refugees were housed in social housing. Yet again, not in the public interest. Since the Home Office refused to answer both requests, I suspect the number for both of these requests must be incredibly high. If it wasn't, they wouldn't hesitate in releasing the information. The reality is that the information, if it was to be released, would cause outrage amongst the general public. Over 25,000 illegal immigrants have arrived by boat this year, almost double the number that arrived this time last year. 90% have been young fighting age men. The overwhelming majority arrive without any form of ID, and ultimately, we have no idea who these people are. So rather than actually dealing with the problem, the Home Office are just going to remove it from public view and hope that the whole problem gets swept under the rug. That seems to be the solution that they always go for these days.
Sweep it under the rug, as if it never existed in the first place. You see how they moved that gangplank over to the other side, and you can imagine if there's a covering over that, no one's going to see anything that's going on. I've seen that area with my own eyes where the blackout thing is around there. And I know exactly what they mean. And even now, that's very difficult to actually observe as well. One big cover up. There you go, folks. Now, let's have a look and see who we've got saying things in the chat. Listen, folks, this is obviously the chat with Andy, the Gabby Cabby. I hope you found this valuable and somewhat informative this evening. I've tried to bring you as much information as I can on this, all the latest that I could club together. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button, give it a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get those numbers as high as possible. That really helps my channel and helps us get there. Also, if you are new and you've just joined this evening, this stream, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. Free to do. It's just a simple push of the subscribe button, and you can have a look at the channel memberships. If you're on social media, you can hook up with us on all the usuals: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all over there. Come and give me a follow, and we'll go from there. Gary Reynolds, Uncle Gary, hello to you. Good to see you. Hope you're all right. When we dispute governments, we use pitchforks. Where are the pitchforks now? Oh, God, that brings me in mind of some footage, definitely. Somebody said a wonderful line. Shame it's been such a serious discussion. Well, unfortunately, Anna, it's a serious matter. And I've just seen too much over the last couple of days, and I thought I really need to bring something out here for it. Where are we? 2,283. Nothing like a hot subject to increase the numbers. Certainly is a hot subject, isn't it? Make pretty sticky garlic. We know what's going on. I do a daily moan on my Facebook, share all the real videos, people commenting. No one used to comment on my posts. Well, it needs going out there. I mean, if anyone's found this valuable this evening, then please, by all means, share this stream with your friends. Stick it on your Facebook, wherever you can. Let's get it out there and let's all talk about it. This joke of a government is flushing the UK down the toilet as we all watch it happen. They tend to just wait, don't they? No, they're not coming from Ukraine, boxing MMA. They're coming across the channel in small, boats, inflatable craft. And there's actually a line kind of going through Europe and then up towards, the north coast of France, where they're then boarding boats and coming over. Now, we were led to believe in the media that they were all coming from war-torn nations and, places like that which have been ripped apart and people have ran like hell, Ukraine being one of them. But it's become very much apparent lately that a good 60% of who are coming over are Albanian, and Albania is not at war with anybody. I've been very careful to try and stay as factual as possible, Cosmic, because as I said, this affects everybody. It doesn't matter what side of the situation you're on politically, the left or the right. Somebody has an opinion about this or is affected by it somehow, and it needed to be spoken about. We need some of the Dover Doc stuff to speak out the truth. Yeah, I mean, Steve Laws, didn't he, come out with this? And he said people won't go on camera because they don't want to lose their jobs. Thank you, Bridget. I appreciate it. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it, Philip, the next generation. See you later, Julie Keys. Good to see you. Thank you very much for your support and coming along, as always. It's wonderful. Right, we're at the hour, folks. I'm going to knock it on the head. We don't usually go past the hour, but I've kind of got going. Again, thank you, everybody, so much for coming along this evening and joining me for this. We had had to cover it like this. Really, it needs put in front of everybody, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't know about you. It's my channel, so I thought I'd talk about it, and I hope you've gleaned some information or learnt something from what I've put in front of you, basically. And I want to try and do a few more topical streams every now and again, rather than just a general chit chat on a specific subject. It needs to be done. Again, if you haven't done so already, before you go, please hit the like button on the chat. That will be great. Thank you very much for all your support you've shown already. If you're new here and just watch for the first time this evening, please consider subscribing to us as well. That'd be wonderful. That's great. And we're on social media. We share all this stuff everywhere, so try and hook up with us there as well. Tomorrow, I'm out with the family for the day. I have no idea what time I'm going to be back, so we'll have to play tomorrow by ear. We're actually going to see some relatives of my wife's, which we haven't seen for a while. A good old catch up. It is bank holiday weekend, everybody, so have some kind of good time. Go out with a friend, go out with your family, have a couple of beers, either stay at home and stick your feet up and relax, whatever it is. I hope it's a good time for you. Look after each other, look after yourselves. Until next time, I will say toodaloo.